As I've said many times on this channel, the media, in particular the car automotive industry, honestly, I do find it harder to say this stuff now that I've met quite a few of them, but they're lying through their teeth. They are. Here are the actual real numbers that have just been revealed by Jose from Clean Technica. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. It's great to see you. Thank you for tuning in. I want to say a big thank you to our Patreon supporters. Really appreciate you guys. Just a few dollars is awesome. I'll put a link in the description below, and also YouTube members. There will be a new video up today for YouTube members. Guys, global registrations of EVs are actually, we have the numbers for May. So compared to May of last year, they're down by 23%. Now, hang on a minute. No. That's probably what the media would tell you. Actually up 23%. So yeah, that's a real stat. There were 1.3 million registrations. However, that figure has risen. If you look at China's numbers, China did nearly that many in June alone. There was more than 900,000 in China in June alone. So that number will be even higher next month. Anyhow, EVs, particularly because this includes plug-in hybrids, but plug-in hybrids and EVs, if you just look at EVs alone were up 17% worldwide. Plug-in hybrids grew by 37%. Now, even though I have been critical of plug-in hybrids, yes, the technology is much more prone to fires and it gives EVs a bad name. People think it's a fire, they think it's an EV, but when it's a plug-in hybrid, that does happen sometimes. I mean, that's true. But that said, at the same time, the primary growth in these plug-in hybrid registrations is actually in China. And in China, the range of plug-in hybrids has been growing. Now, in China, we don't have the same phenomenon of these morons buying a plug-in hybrid outside of China. A lot of morons do this. In particular, this happens in Europe, and they don't plug it in. So they don't use it as an EV. That does happen. I know that most private users aren't that stupid, but a lot of businesses do that. But in China, that's not the case. But they don't do that. They drive them as EVs. And in China, the range, not just in China, actually worldwide, but in particular in China, the range of plug-in hybrids on the battery alone continues to increase. In fact, now the average plug-in hybrid can do 100 kilometers of range on the battery alone. And many of them can do much more than that. So that means that most of them are being driven primarily as EVs. Plug-in hybrids, plug-in vehicles represented 20% share of the entire world EV market in May. That's probably closer to 22% in June, but 20%, guys, 1 in 5. EVs were 13% market share worldwide. Now, I thought EVs were going to hell, right? Going to hell in a handcart, all that stuff. This is what is known as the electric disruption zone, says Clean Technica. And it's true. In fact, disruption zone is actually 5%. We've well and truly gone well past the disruption zone. In fact, I believe there's now about 54 countries worldwide that have gone past the 5% number of disruption. Now, as you get those big step changes, as we start to see EVs with 40 to 50% more range, prices have halved in many places. As that continues, as the technology rapidly improves, it's proving and in such a fast rate, then that's when we'll get this skyrocket. That's when we get this massive disruption happening. And that's going to happen, most analysts predict 2026, 2027, 2028. That's basically when it's over for internal combustion. So if you're in this situation like Toyota right now, where only 2% of your cars sold worldwide are actually electric cars, 2%, that's when you come to 2026, 2027, and you're screwed. You're in big trouble. You've got to pay $200 billion in debt, and you can't pay your debts. You try to get a refinancing, banks say, wow, the risk is enormous here. We have to cover a company. All their assets are set up to build products that people are no longer buying. That will happen. Fully electric cars represented 66% of plug-in registrations. So like I said, the majority of that number, of that staggering number, 20% worldwide are electric. So all the talk by the media saying EVs are losing year to date. In fact, the numbers for EVs are even better. So far this year, EVs have grown in sales by a total of 12%. So in total, plug-in hybrids and EVs are up 20% versus last year. That's for the entire year. Now, if you listen to the media, the opposite is the case. But of course, they don't like facts. They like feelings. They like getting people to click on things. Now, so what were the best-selling EVs in the world? Well, if you listen to the media, Tesla's got graveyards all around the world. They didn't just sell 444,000 cars and only produce 411,000. Anyway, Tesla Model Y was the best-selling car in the world in May, best-selling EV by a mile. No one was even close, 89,000. Second place was the Tesla Model 3 with 45,000 deliveries. Third was the BYD Seagull, which is sometimes called the Dolphin Mini, with 36,000. Next, the BYD Yen Plus, which is called the Atto 3 outside of China, 32,000. That was followed by the BYD Chin Plus, the EV version, 17,000. By the way, these numbers I'm delivering to you, they're the EV numbers, not plug-in hybrids. BYD Song was next with 15,410. Then after that one, we have the Aeon Y. And Aeon, they make some pretty damn good EVs, I've got to say. The Aeon Y, 17,500. And that was followed by the Wuling Hongwan Mini EV with 16,443. Next, very surprising deliveries here. Volkswagen ID4. Volkswagen sales of EVs in America are just being crushed. They're collapsing. Too many problems with the ID4 in the United States. So yeah, it's not selling, but worldwide sales are not too bad. 16,000 were delivered worldwide in the month of May. That was followed by the Wuling Bingo with 13,900. The Zeekr 001. Look at that, guys. First time we've seen Zeekr up here. That's a good result. 13,700 Zeekr 001s. Now, if you see a 001 and you drive one, you'll know exactly why people are buying them. And I mean that wholeheartedly, genuinely. I'd be shocked if you didn't see one and think, whoa, that looks amazing. They do. They just look great. The Li Yang L6 was next with 13,000. That was followed by the Chang'an Lumen, which is kind of a competitor to the Wuling Hongwan Mini. It's a small EV. That was 12,450. Volkswagen ID3 was next with 12,430. BYD Seal, 11,400. And then we have the BYD Han with 10,145. Now, as you can see here, there's no Hyundais, there's no Kias, no Toyotas, no Hondas, no Mitsubishis. There's no Fords. There's no General Motors here. Not even any Rivians either. No Lucid. This is global sales, guys. This includes every brand. There's no BMWs. There's no Audis. No Mercedes. Yeah, guys, this is the future of the automotive industry. This chart you're looking at here, this is the future. This is smartphones. This is digital cameras when we used to use analog. This is what we're looking at. And if you still don't believe, you still think that all these legacy automotive companies are going to save their own bacon, and by 2026, 2027, 2028, when there's these unbelievable EVs being sold all around the world, that people are just going to go, nah, I want to buy an old shitty internal combustion car that's really got technology in it that is very old. Most of them do. Most of them are using old chips. You know, honestly, guys, in America and Europe, and a lot of parts of Europe as well, the chips in your cars that you're buying, like the actual processing chips, no one in China would accept those. They wouldn't. You know what happens in China if you sell them a chip that's actually more advanced than anything, almost anything you're seeing in American cars? They go back and say, I found out what it is, replace it. I want a refund of this car. That has happened numerous times in China. So that's what you're facing. You're facing people demanding the best, and that's what Chinese companies have to do. They're like, well, damn, we have to, our customers are demanding a lot more. They're demanding at this really high level. We have to produce at this high level. That's the competition, and that is scary. Now, you might be thinking, well, the tariffs are going to stop it all. The tariffs will prevent us. They'll save us. Well, little do you know, Chinese companies are working out how to get around this. Not only are they building factories in Europe, in Northern Africa, Morocco, in Mexico, in Brazil, but think about it. They're setting themselves up to kind of get around these subsidies. I mean, these, not subsidies, these tariffs. They'll figure out a way. If they've got the best product, Americans in particular, they know Chinese EV brands. Where there's been surveys, Americans know them and they actually want to buy them. It won't take long.